I want an industry that supports the entire industry in the crypto industry. And I think, for a very long time, and it's gotten so much better over the last 18 months, but for a long
sending email at the speed of light, and yet it's going to cost me like 40 bucks and take 3 days, and maybe the money I send from Toronto can get to South Africa.
Hey there, future millionaires. Welcome back to the channel. It's so good to see you again. I genuinely hope you're having an absolutely amazing day, no matter where you are in this beautiful world of ours. Today, we're diving into XRP, and I had to share this incredible post from Bark that really caught my attention. What I love about it is that he's not pressuring you to go crazy and buy 10,000, 20,000, or even 50,000 XRP. Instead, his message is refreshingly simple. Just buy XRP. Seriously, it doesn't matter how much, just get your hands on some. The window of opportunity is closing fast, and you know what? This aligns perfectly with what I've been telling you all along. Listen, buy whatever fits comfortably in your budget. Don't stress yourself out or lose sleep over it. Here's the thing. You're going to profit in this cycle regardless. It's really just a matter of time before XRP absolutely explodes and goes parabolic. So take a deep breath, stick to your plan, and let's ride this wave together. Okay, this is absolutely mind-blowing. The FXRP DeFi experience is performing so incredibly well that we're seeing over 20 times more money flowing in than flowing out. I'm telling you, this is about to get absolutely crazy. Let me break down these numbers for you because they're just insane. We've got inflows of 43.09 million tokens, and get this, that's valued at a whopping $114.13 million. Meanwhile, the outflows? Just 1.96 million tokens worth only $5.18 million. Can you see the massive difference here? People are pouring money in and barely anyone is taking it out. Here's what really excites me about FXRP. This isn't just a quick flash in the pan. This is shaping up to be one of those incredible opportunities that keeps delivering value year after year after year. And guys, we are so early to this party right now. But you can already see the massive demand building up. Everyone's realizing they want their crypto to actually work for them and generate returns. This is exactly what we've been waiting for. All right, everyone. Let's talk about the two crucial levels you need to keep your eyes on for XRP right now. We've got solid support sitting at $2.15, and there's resistance waiting at $2.80. These are the numbers that really matter. Now, here's what I'm seeing. XRP is steadily climbing upward, almost like it's building momentum for something big. And when we finally smash through that $2.80 resistance, oh man, it's going to be like breaking through paper. Once that happens, we're entering completely uncharted territory, pure price discovery mode. And you know what's going to be hilarious? All those people calling the top over and over again, only to watch XRP just keep climbing higher and higher. When this run really gets going, and trust me, it's coming, it's going to be absolutely mind-blowing. All those doubters and naysayers who've been talking trash about XRP, they'll suddenly go quiet real fast. But here's the real kicker. There are going to be so many people kicking themselves for not grabbing XRP at these current price levels. Don't be one of those people looking back with regret. Okay, this is really interesting, guys. We're seeing something pretty powerful happening right now. Crypto unity is starting to win over all that toxic tribalism we've been dealing with. And get this, Eric Trump is actually echoing what Ripple's CEO Brad Garlinghouse has been saying. I mean, when you've got voices from completely different sides of the spectrum saying the same thing, you know something big is shifting. Let me play this for you because you've got to hear this for yourself.
I want an industry that supports the entire industry in the crypto industry. And I think, for a very long time, and it's gotten so much better over the last 18 months, but for a long time, the industry was factionated where, if you were a Bitcoin guy, you were only a Bitcoin guy. If you're an ETH person, you were only an ETH person. If you believed in stable coins, you only believed in stable coins. If you wanted meme coins, you only believed in meme coins and everything else was junk. And I think for the first time, you've got real maturity in this industry where you have people who are, putting on a nice shirt, speaking articulately at conferences and supporting the entire ecosystem. You might have your own preferences, you might have your own visions, you might have your own beliefs in who's going to win the race. But there's no question that we're all in this race together. And the better everybody does, the better it is for ultimately the industry.
Look, I want to be clear here. I've got nothing against Bitcoin itself. Bitcoin is solid. But here's what drives me absolutely crazy. Bitcoin maximalists just can't help themselves when it comes to spreading FUD about XRP. They do it constantly. And honestly, I think this is exactly why we have all this toxic tribalism poisoning the crypto space right now. But here's the thing, it's not just Bitcoin maxis doing this. You've got Chainlink holders, people invested in other cryptocurrencies, and for some reason, they all seem to have this weird hatred for XRP. But you know what's going to be really interesting? They're going to hate XRP even more once it finally breaks out and starts absolutely crushing it. Here's what we really need, guys. A level playing field. Bitcoin can't dominate forever, right? And this whole first mover advantage thing, that doesn't last eternally either. The crypto world is big enough for multiple winners, and once people realize that, we're all going to be so much better off. Now, I'm not sure if Coach JV is familiar with Q&T, but he makes this really interesting point. He says Bitcoin will become the digital monetary base, while XRP will serve as the global settlement rail. And you know what? That's actually brilliant because these are two completely different purposes. Think about it. We're talking about one unified financial system here, not competition. This is about infrastructure, not hype. And honestly, it feels inevitable at this point. Coach JV believes Bitcoin and XRP will end up as the #1 and #2 cryptos when everything settles. He puts it perfectly. Warriors see things before the rest of the world catches on. And I do agree with him to some extent. It's like Bitcoin stores value while XRP moves value. That's a beautiful way to think about it. But here's where I start to disagree a bit. He mentions Bitcoin being the most scarce asset on Earth, like digital gold. But wait a minute. What about Q&T? There are only around 14 million Q&T tokens, and it actually has real utility. I honestly don't think it's going to be just Bitcoin and XRP at the top. I believe the entire top 10 is going to be packed with utility-driven cryptocurrencies. We're going to see XDC in there, Hedera, IOTA, ALGO. And guys, IOTA is this massive sleeping giant that nobody's talking about. Just wait until smart cities really take off and we have Industry 4.0 machines paying other machines. People are going to seriously regret not getting into IOTA before digital trade explodes worldwide. XDC is going to be an absolute powerhouse too. And don't sleep on XLM either. That's another fantastic cryptocurrency. But seriously, I would think Coach JV knows about Q&T by now. Okay, this is absolutely huge, guys. So get this. Elliot Johnson, who's the CEO of Bitcoin Treasury, just said that XRP is the answer for moving money at the speed of light. I mean, think about that for a second. This is coming from someone who's literally on the Bitcoin side of things, and even they're starting to wake up and recognize what's coming down the pipeline. They can see it now. They know exactly what XRP brings to the table. This is getting really exciting because when even Bitcoin advocates are giving XRP this kind of recognition, you know something big is about to happen. You've got to hear this for yourself.
Sending email at the speed of light, and yet it's going to cost me like 40 bucks and take 3 days, and maybe the money I send from Toronto can get to South Africa, but maybe not. And then I have to go chase after it. Like, it's ridiculous. And so XRP is just, you just tell that story and then you say, oh, but there's also this protocol and it's called XRP and it's a cryptocurrency and it's built for seamless instant payments. And as every country kind of comes onto the network and has a liquid local market, you can send on one, receive on the other. And then people are like, okay, I kind of get why you want that. It's like Western Union, except that it's not, doesn't cost me an arm and a leg. And it's like, that's right. And so it's all part of the same story. And what I love about it is it's another one to talk about, right? It's another example to talk about that, again, wakes people up to the fact that this is what's happening. This is what this asset class is all about. And again, like, if you live in your small world in your own country, and I don't mean that to offend anybody, but if you only live inside your own country and you only operate in your own economy and you're lucky enough to be in a developed Western nation, you can go ahead, by all means, go ahead and ignore these advances in digital assets because you probably don't need them yet for yourself. But there are a lot of people in the world for whom this stuff is actually a meaningful improvement to their.
And he keeps going, talking about exactly what XRP was built to do. But here's the thing that really gets me. They all know what XRP is capable of. Even those hardcore Bitcoin maximalists, deep down, they absolutely know what XRP brings to the table. They're watching it get adopted in real time, right before their very eyes, and they just can't wrap their heads around the fact that it's actually happening. Like, they're literally witnessing history unfold, and they're in complete disbelief. But you know what really terrifies them the most? The fact that Ripple survived that brutal SEC lawsuit. They were so convinced that the SEC was going to shut Ripple down completely. They probably had their champagne ready to celebrate XRP's demise. But when that didn't happen, when Ripple came out victorious, oh man, you could practically hear the panic. And what did they do immediately? They cranked up the FUD machine all over again because that's all they have left in their playbook. Now, James Nguyen just posted something that completely blew my mind, and honestly, I'm not sure what happened to this guy. Like, did he have some kind of awakening or something? So check this out. He says to imagine this scenario. XRP suddenly teleports to over $500 per coin, just like that. Then the administration uses the pre-mine to completely wipe out that massive $35 trillion debt we're carrying. We're talking about a whole new financial system here, with Ripple sitting right at the center of absolutely everything. And all those early XRP holders, they become the new upper-class elite. But here's what's really wild about this. Just one day ago, this same guy was researching XRP like he'd never heard of it before. And now he's posting stuff like this? I mean, what kind of research rabbit hole did he fall down? Because whatever he discovered, it must have been pretty mind-blowing to go from zero to posting these kinds of predictions overnight. But wait, there's more! He also dropped this bombshell, and I quote, "Nobody wants to hear this, but ETH will flip Bitcoin." Now, that's already a pretty bold statement, right? But here's what's going to be absolutely hilarious. Just wait until this guy realizes that XRP is going to flip ETH, because that's exactly what's coming, and it's going to happen sooner than people think. But honestly, I'm taking this even further. In this current run, I genuinely believe there's a very real chance that XRP could flip Bitcoin's entire market cap. And I'm not just throwing this out there randomly. Look at the evidence. We've got massive inflows pouring into the ETFs. We're seeing incredible value coming from ISO 2022 adoption, and regulatory clarity is finally benefiting utility-focused projects like never before. All of these factors are lining up perfectly, and when you connect the dots, it's pointing towards something absolutely massive for XRP. The pieces are all falling into place. When we keep saying we're still early, this is exactly what we're talking about, guys. Right now, there's only $686 million worth of tokenized stocks existing on-chain. But get this, the global stock market is worth a mind-blowing $100 trillion. Do the math with me here. That's only 0.00007% penetration. We're talking about barely scratching the surface. Just wait until we witness the massive rise of tokenization. I'm telling you, what we've seen so far, it's absolutely nothing. We've barely dipped our toes into tokenization at this point. But here's where it gets really exciting. Once tokenization gets proper regulations in place, because that's the key piece of the puzzle we're waiting for, you're going to see everyone rushing to tokenize their assets. And I mean, this is going to happen lightning fast. We're talking about just a few months where we'll witness trillions upon trillions of dollars worth of real-world assets flooding onto the blockchain. Now imagine what happens when all of this value starts hitting the networks we're betting on. The XRP Ledger, Stellar, XDC, Hedera, and all the others. Guys, we're going to watch these cryptocurrency prices change so dramatically and so quickly, it's going to make your head spin. Here's XRP price in 2030 if 80% of supply is locked in staking. So they're saying it could go to $83.33 per XRP. Okay, I've got some news for you that's going to blow your mind. First off, everything we've been talking about, it's going to happen way before 2030. I'm talking about the next year or two tops. We're going to see institutional adoption absolutely explode, and that's going to drag us straight into mass adoption. Now listen carefully. If anyone out there is still thinking XRP will be under $100 by 2030, they're literally living in fantasy land. They're only kidding themselves at this point. Here's what I'm telling you right now, and I want you to really hear this. There's a very, very strong chance that by 2026, just 2026, we're going to be looking at XRP trading above $100, and it's going to stay at those levels. Why? Because we're going to have a non-stop tsunami of money flowing in. People are going to keep locking away their XRP like crazy. And now, people are finally starting to put their XRP to work through staking. On top of that, treasury companies are scooping up and locking away even more XRP. Guys, this is exactly what we've been waiting for years. And it's all finally coming together right before our eyes in real time. The pieces are falling into place perfectly. All right, are you ready for this? I'm about to reveal the hidden story of how banks and ETFs are secretly positioning themselves with XRP. This is huge. Let me break this down into 6 game-changing points for you. First up, Liquidity. XRP enables instant global transfers with lightning-fast settlement, completely solving that massive bottleneck we've had in cross-border payments. No more waiting days for money to move. Second, adoption is absolutely exploding. Banks and financial institutions are integrating Ripple left and right, showing us this isn't just speculation anymore. This is real-world utility happening right now. Third, regulation. With increasing clarity from US courts and global regulators, XRP is steamrolling toward mainstream legitimacy. The legal battles are behind us. Fourth, ETFs are coming. Exchange-traded funds are going to blow the doors wide open, giving both institutional and retail investors access to XRP on regulated markets. Fifth, actual utility. Unlike so many other altcoins that are just hot air, XRP's value comes from genuine use cases, remittances, payments, and liquidity bridging that people actually need. And sixth, scalability that's absolutely mind-blowing. The XRP ledger can handle thousands of transactions per second at incredibly low costs, making it enterprise-ready. But wait until they couple it with interledger protocol. We're talking about potentially trillions of transactions per second. You know what really gets me excited? This has been building for such a long time. I bought my very first XRP back in 2018, and let me tell you, back then you needed serious vision to see how this would all come together. But now, it's happening in real time, right before our eyes. Everything we ever believed was going to happen is actually happening now. This isn't speculation anymore. This is reality. Just take one look at Ripple's swell and it tells you everything you need to know. And this insight comes from Johnny Dion, who really nailed it. So check this out. Uphold just made this massive announcement. They're saying they're the first major crypto platform to bring real US dollars on-chain, issued by a nationally chartered bank and backed by the full strength of the US banking system. That's pretty huge. Now, Johnny Dion had this really interesting prediction. He said, if Ripple, Kraken, or Coinbase don't make a play for Uphold, I believe Fidelity or Charles Schwab will acquire it for somewhere between $1.5 to $1.9 billion. And you know what? He's standing by that prediction. So someone's definitely going to snatch up Uphold, and honestly, I can totally see that happening. Here's why Uphold is so valuable. They have incredibly strong ties with Ripple, and here's the kicker, they never delisted XRP. That speaks volumes about their commitment. Now, I know a lot of you don't love Uphold's fees or the whole KYC and AML process. Trust me, I get it. But here's the thing. Once regulations really kick in and we see this massive bottleneck hit the exchanges, Uphold is going to be one of the few still standing. Think about it. If an exchange isn't doing proper anti-money laundering or know your customer procedures, they're going to be toast once regulations arrive. We're about to see a massive shakeout in crypto. Most meme coins? Gone. Altcoins that people thought were solid projects? Many of them will disappear too. This bottleneck is going to hit everywhere. Wallets will need to comply with AML and KYC processes. Exchanges will face the same scrutiny. It's going to look like a total black swan event. And you know what? Brad Garlinghouse warned us about this. He told us that regulations might look like a black swan event, but here's the golden opportunity. Anything that survives these regulations is going to be the major player of the future. Those will be the exchanges everyone uses, the wallets everyone trusts, and the cryptocurrencies everyone invests in. Why? Because they made it through the regulatory gauntlet. They'll have complete transparency, and people will finally realize these were the chosen ones all along. But here's the beautiful part. You're already invested in the right cryptocurrencies. Even if you're only holding XRP, you're in great shape. Though I always tell people to diversify in crypto, you should definitely be holding some XLM too. I'd also recommend grabbing some HBAR and XDC. Pick up a little bit of these ISO-compliant cryptocurrencies because when the network they're running on is compliant, those tokens can be utilized within ISO messages, and that's going to bring massive value. But until it all unfolds, just stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. All right, everyone, that's a wrap on today's video. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I genuinely appreciate all of you. I'll catch you in the next one.